Hello, I am Chef Bob Aungst, and I am here with Gary Appelsies, one of my favorite dear friends, and we are here for Rockin' Risotto, and we are going to cook some risotto for you. We have some wonderful guests here in the live audience, and we are going to field questions for you, and if you have anything that you would like to know about risotto, we are not the people to ask. You should probably Google it.
Yeah.
You should probably do something else. But if you have easy questions about risotto, we are absolutely your people.
That's right.
Awesome.
I agree with that.
Thank you. Gary, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Super excited to have you. So what we're going to do is, this is a live production. We're going to be cooking. We're going to be doing all sorts of things all at the same time. And so let's start cooking.
Yeah.
And then let's talk.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
So Gary over here, chef, tell me what you're going to make.
I'm going to make just a plain, basic risotto bianco, white risotto, onions, shallot, a little garlic. I'm using veggie broth. You can use chicken broth if you wanted to, but I'm using veggie broth.
Or you can use whatever I'm going to use.
Or you can use what I was saving that as a secret surprise. I didn't want to tell anybody.
So what I love about what you're going to do, chef, is you're going to teach the audience how to make the base risotto.
Absolutely.
That every other risotto is made from this risotto. Isn't that correct?
100%. This is the basic. Start with this risotto. From this, you can make anything. You can make a mushroom risotto.
Perfect.
You can make a squash risotto, a corn risotto, a spring onion risotto, whatever you want to do.
We can do crazy risotto.
We can do crazy risottos.
That's awesome.
Kitchen
I love
sink.
That. So folks are afraid of risotto.
Yeah.
It's an intimidating dish for some reason. And so you and I as professional chefs, we've been chefs for a long time. Is that strange to you?
It is, but I think what scares people about it is the fact that you have to watch it and keep stirring it, but really you don't have to.
You don't, do you?
No.
And we experienced that just today,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
Didn't we?
In the test kitchen, when we were getting stuff together
You're exactly right.
earlier,
Yep.
we just kind of let it go.
We did. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to steal some of your butter here.
Go ahead.
And we're going to get that in here. Oh, look at that. It's almost like we know what we're doing,
Yeah,
chef.
right? I'm going to take some of the butter too.
Perfect. And so, chef, what I'm going to create for us is one of my favorite risottos. I call it a fall risotto. And so we're going to make a pumpkin risotto with goat cheese and fresh cranberries.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that nice?
That's beautiful. I love pumpkin risotto. It's one of the best fall dishes you could make.
It is, isn't it?
Absolutely. So I'm also going to add to the butter, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil just so that the butter doesn't burn.
Perfect.
So I don't want to have burnt risotto.
So you will, hopefully, folks, by default, learn one or two things today. We're hoping, anyway.
At least a little bit.
At least one or two, we hope. Perfect. So I'm working here. So I'm doing the same thing, chef. I'm adding a little bit of oil as well, but because I'm making a pumpkin risotto, I'm actually going to add pumpkin oil. So this is pumpkin seed oil, and as you'll see when I bring it out here.
Look at that color.
Look at that color. Isn't that beautiful?
That's gorgeous.
So it's a gorgeous color. It's going to add a huge kick of pumpkin. Oh, smell that.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh, yeah.
So now you can see we're going to have a completely different element going to that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my risotto to that. You're going to go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and start with a little bit of onion and a little bit of shallot.
That's perfect. Again, you're doing this.
This is
traditional,
just the traditional classic risotto. So we're going to start with a little onion and shallot. We want to get that sweated down a little bit. And then once that sweats down a little bit, we'll add some garlic to this as well to bring out that garlicky flavor.
Perfect. And because my risotto is really going to focus on the pumpkin and the fall flavors, I really don't want it to have a big...
You don't need those flavors.
I really don't need those other flavors to compete with it, correct?
Yeah.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Good. That looks good. And you're toasting the risotto, which is what you want to do. You want to toast that risotto in the oil, coat it, make sure it's nice and coated. Look how beautiful that looks. It's all glistening and everything. And start to get translucent a little bit, and then we can go from there.
And when chefs talk about depth in a dish, this is what they're talking about. We're layering elements one by one on top of each other so that you build a foundation of depth. And so that when you're enjoying the dish, the difference between professional cooks and home cooks a lot of times is that everything just gets dumped in and everything gets cooked together, and they don't really have the opportunity or the experience to go ahead and build those flavor profiles. Is that what you find, Gary?
Yes, 100%. My wife will tell you that when she started cooking alongside of me, she learned a lot in the kitchen of how to layer those flavors and how to make things taste different, because she would just throw everything into the pan and it was done. And then I taught her to add salt and pepper as you're going along, add those flavors as you're going along to build on what you're putting in the dish, and it becomes much more depth of flavor, as you said.
Yep.
And there's a more complexity to the dish as you're doing that.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. So my risotto
I
here is
don't know if
toasting.
my
Are you
pan's
not
getting hot
quite?
enough.
You're hot. Yeah, not gonna lie. This one's hotter. Oh, you're not quite there yet. That's fine. That's good.
Is that it? All right, we're going to go ahead and add.
Yep. Well, you're just not quite there yet, but go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic to this.
Perfect.
We'll start getting that done, and I can smell your risotto starting.
Isn't that nice?
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we have with us today Chris Rock from RockPit Brewing.
You heard the uh-oh in the background there.
Yes, the uh-oh. Yes, we have a menagerie of guests today.
Yeah,
don't
we do.
I'm going to call them a menagerie.
We have, and some great friends.
We have. I would like to think they're all great friends.
I agree.
But it's definitely a menagerie. You notice when I mentioned
Chopped it out. You're coming back.
coming back.
Wait.
Chris, I'm going to bring you on in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You're getting there, Chef.
Yeah.
I don't know why your side took so much.
Okay, we back.
We're back? Excellent. Perfect. So we do have an incredible group of folks here today. And one of my favorite guests is here, and that is a gentleman from RockPit Brewing. That's Chris Rock. Mr. Rock, would you come join us for a minute here?
I'm just drinking beer.
I understand. Chris, you're just here. Chris, thank you.
How you doing?
So nice to see you.
Great to see you, Chris.
How you doing?
Awesome. How are things at the brewery?
How you doing? Oh, are we? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
just
going
jumping
very well. We're recovering just like everyone else from the pandemic, and things are going pretty well.
Well, awesome. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, thank you.
And so the reason, look at that, Jeff.
That's beautiful.
So what I'm doing right now, in case you're wondering, is I'm just going ahead and adding some stock to this because it's ready. My risotto, my arboreal rice was getting really nice and toasty and nutty, and so I went ahead and added some stock to this so that it can start absorbing those flavors. So, Chris.
Yes.
So one of the things that we were super excited about was that we came up with this idea to, instead of using stock or instead of using wine, we decided we were going to make risotto with beer.
Yes.
And so when I first thought of beer, I immediately thought of you.
Wow. Thank
you.
I like that association.
You should.
Think beer, think Chris Rock.
Absolutely, among other things.
Yeah.
And so, as you know, Chef Gary and myself always go first with sourcing the best ingredients that we can find.
Absolutely.
And locally.
Exactly.
So what happened because you ended up using this?
I still used your beer.
Oh, okay.
And and we ended up making an incredible beer risotto.
Yes.
And it was and all the folks will have photos of it here. They're going to try it. They're going to enjoy it. And we made a beer risotto.
Yes.
And it was
Very good.
phenomenal.
Very good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so you and I have done a lot of collaborations. haven't we?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so what are the things that we are doing are you super excited about?
What other things are we doing?
Yeah, what do we got coming up? We have anything coming up?
Us
We have
together?
some, yeah, we have, do you have a barrel in mind somewhere?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we might have a couple of, yeah, so we actually do a couple of beers at RockPit every once in a while. He has some barrel-aged coffee beans that he gives us that we use and put it in our blackstrap or a blonde ale or maybe some other kind of really high beer. In any case, we are going to grab some of those old barrels that he uses to age his coffee beans in, and then we are going to age our beer in it too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So again, like we're talking about with cooking, you're talking about layering flavors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you're going to end up with a beer. I know the blackstrap that we've done before that you've used my coffee treated beer for has been phenomenal.
Yep.
Huge hit.
Oh, absolutely. It sells out within usually a day or two. It's gone.
That's awesome.
But the thing that we're doing, we have an imperial style. It's around 13% or so. We're going to siphon some of that off, and we're going to age it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be super fun.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us.
All right.
And
Thank you, Chris.
make sure all the folks have some great beer. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you. All right.
There you go, Chef.
I am going to add a little white wine to this.
Ooh, I like that. Now you're cooking with gas.
Now
over
we're-
there. I
now
like
we're-
that.
now
For
we're
some
cooking.
reason, it likes my pan. It doesn't like your pan. I don't know why it doesn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
cranking on this one.
But I'm gonna
Oh, there
add-
we go.
I'm going to add
Beautiful.
some nice white wine. We'll get that. Oh, that smells really good, doesn't it?
That smells awesome. Go ahead, put it right there.
Oh, yeah, we'll let that cook down a little bit.
Perfect.
That's what we're looking for.
Awesome. So one of the things that we're going to do with this risotto, which I thought was super fun, I've made this risotto before, and I found out that it works incredibly well, despite what it looks like. And so what I've done is I took some pure pumpkin, and I added some stock to it. Your risotto smells phenomenal.
It does, doesn't it? That wine.
Yeah.
You can use a Chardonnay. You can use Pinot Grigio. You could use a Sauvignon Blanc. I like to use a Chardonnay with mine, but you can really use any of those, and you'll have some great flavor. And the wine just really brings out the flavor. So that wine's absorbed a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add some stock after you add your pumpkin.
So this is pumpkin and this is stock, and we're going to go ahead and, Chef, I'm going to substitute this pumpkin stock for what you're using, which is wine and regular stock.
Right.
And it's going to act just like yours is, except the risotto, the arboro rice, is going to soak up all of this pumpkin flavor. And so it's being treated in the same exact way. And I love doing this this application because it tells folks that you can really, the liquid doesn't matter. We used beer and we made a beer risotto. You're using wine and we're making a classic risotto. I'm using pumpkin and we're making a pumpkin risotto. So it's really going to change the dish that you're going to have. And I'm a little bit terrified that these folks have come with surprise ingredients. I didn't
So am I, a
not
little
know
bit.
that was happening. So I'm a little bit gun shy. There's reasons I only do TV that I can control.
So I'm going to add actually veggie stock to
Perfect.
this, so that this is a totally vegetarian dish. You could use chicken stock.
Mm-hmm.
You could use chicken stock if you want. You could use water, the pumpkin, whatever you wanted to. But I like to use a little veggie stock.
Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful.
Get that in there first. And you start to see it's starting to get real creamy already.
It is.
So
That's beautiful.
that's beautiful.
So, really, what we do with risotto at this point is so simple that I really believe anybody, any of the folks in the audience, any of the folks out there in live stream land, really can make risotto as well as any professional chef if
I
they
agree.
follow these literally simple, easy steps. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Yeah. It's so simple, and it's really, this is nothing to be afraid of. It's rice, basically.
It
I
is.
mean, you know, let's just call it what it is, right?
Just call it what it is.
So,
And
it's
so,
just a different way of making it.
and all we're going to do at this point is periodically add liquid to it.
Yeah.
So you're going to add your
I'm going to continue to add my veggie broth to this until it all absorbs in, and you're going to keep adding your pumpkin
my
stock.
pumpkin stock, and then we'll know when it's all done.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
I'll be finishing mine with a little butter and some Parmesan cheese. And what are you going to finish yours with?
I'm going to finish mine with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a little bit of butter, but then I'm going to fold in goat cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle on some slivered fresh cranberries.
Nice.
And it's just going to scream fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and that flavor of the goat cheese with the pumpkin, just totally great flavor.
Awesome.
It's a delicious flavor to get.
Awesome. So I'm going to surprise one of our guests here, and I'm going to bring out. Let's bring checking
Who do we
out
wanna see?
our gluten-free Jewish mama. Where would she be?
I don't know. Where is she?
Alex,
Lisa.
Would you see? Can you find her for us?
She's asking if the crackers are gluten-free.
Asking if the crackers. No.
No.
And thank you. So would you like to join us for a moment, dear?
Yeah.
Awesome. You can take that off. Perfect. Awesome. So, Lisa, have you met Chef
We just met
Appelsies?
today.
Yes, we
Appelsies?
did.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
So, thank you for being here. We're so excited you're
Well,
here.
thanks for having me. Everything is delicious, and this is so exciting.
Awesome. So, tell me a little bit about your charge. Tell me a little bit about your followers, about what you try, and tell me what your mission is.
Well, my mission is just to make sure that all of the gluten-free community feels safe when they are out and about or even in a friend's house, and to make sure that they always have something to eat and they don't have to walk around and be nervous to even ask. And I think in all of these years, and thanks to you and everyone that's been an advocate, it's just created such an easier lifestyle for them with their dietary restrictions. So
That's awesome.
it's really great to watch this amazing gluten-free event. It's not even a gluten-free event.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that was really one of the reasons that I was excited that you were able to join us, because it's perception and it's attention to detail, and it's more in technique than it is in content. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
It's about being smart about cross-contamination. It's about being smart about how you're storing your ingredients, where your ingredients are, how you present your ingredients.
Yeah.
All of those types of things.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of knowledge goes a long way.
Awesome.
All you need is the ingredients and all of the allergen information and some tinfoil, and you're good to go.
Right.
There you go.
We were.
You can do anything with
You can do
tinfoil and
anything
make
with
it
tin.
safe.
You really
And make it
can.
safe. I know, and we talk about this all the time about going to restaurants and how a lot of your folks are just so frustrated with restaurants, and you just want to scream at them. Just put some tinfoil down.
That's all you need.
That's
Just
all
a little
you
bit
need
of
to do.
tinfoil.
A little
Wash
bit
your
of tinfoil.
hands.
Wash your
Tinfoil,
hands.
you're good.
And then you're good.
And I understand that in the restaurant industry and in the food industry, it's hard because people are working fast, but isn't that what we do? If you just know what you're doing, and then you can work fast. So it's catching on, and it's really been a lot better.
I find the Central Florida market in particular has been very receptive.
Yes.
And very responsive
Yes.
to the dietary needs of their residents.
Yes. Well, Orlando in general, I mean,
Yes.
they really set the bar high.
They do.
And they don't want any child to feel excluded or any person to feel excluded. So
Because
it's
of their
created that.
dietary needs. And Chef, I'm super excited about what you've been doing at the Y around those efforts too, and
Yeah.
around dietary needs. And you have a charge, just like Lisa does, to make sure that all peoples have the right things to eat,
Yeah.
and that we all have food, and that it's all safe. Is that
Yeah,
safe in saying?
absolutely. We're trying to really make sure that everybody in the Central Florida community can eat healthy, can eat right, understands different dietary needs, and really, I make recipes, everything from vegetarian to gluten-free
Right?
and vegan, and we really try to help people understand that just because you see a dish one way doesn't mean that you can't make it another way.
Right, it can be
which
made
is
all different ways.
exactly, which is why
We're making this dish 4 different ways,
right,
right?
right,
And-
exactly. Like
exactly.
classically this is made with chicken stock, but I'm making with veggie stock, so it's a vegetarian dish tonight.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Yeah,
thank
everyone
you.
should have something to eat.
Everyone
Exactly.
here will have something to eat. We hope everyone
thank you.
in your world has something to eat.
Yeah, well, thanks
Super-
for having me. This is
super
amazing.
excited.
Thank you for
I
being here.
appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
You too.
Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more stock. Look at this. This is
It's just
so-
coming together beautifully,
so
isn't
beautiful,
it?
right?
You know, one of the reasons that I love working with you, Chef, is because we share our passion for cooking, and we really share. We get genuinely toddler boy excited when things come together.
Yeah,
Even though we've done them 1,000 times, we still get excited about it.
yeah. We like to share coffee, beer,
We do.
bourbon.
Yes, we share. We're sharers by nature.
Yes, yes.
So tell me how your work at the Y has been going, has progressed. What are you excited about?
What I'm excited most about is that even though we are in the times of COVID,
Yes.
and things are tight and hard to do, I'm writing actually more recipes now, and doing more videos and doing more events online for people to learn how to cook.
Right.
Because people are at home now,
Right.
and we can't run through the drive-through every day after school.
God, please don't.
Yeah.
Yes, please do not do
Yeah.
that. Please do not do that.
So we're learning, we're teaching people, and that's the most exciting thing for me right now, is that I can really teach people how to eat at home and eat healthy, and not only serve their families for one meal, but how to take that meal and stretch it.
Yeah.
So if you're on a budget, maybe you've been furloughed, maybe your hours have been cut down, whatever.
Maybe
the
just
case-
trying to be smart.
Maybe just trying to be smarter.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, how do I stretch my meals? How do I make things easier? Thursday night I made pumpkin pancakes.
You did. I watched you.
Live on.
I watched you. It was
on
super exciting,
Facebook.
and you had children there with you,
I-
which I loved.
I had some of our friends' children joined me to make the pumpkin pancakes, and it was all about teaching your kids how to cook in the kitchen with you. Because if
Yep.
we can teach our kids early on how to cook, they're going to learn how to cook for the rest of their lives. They're going to be okay in the kitchen. It's when we
Absolutely.
don't teach them how to cook that's when we run into issues with childhood obesity and other problems. So trying to teach people that it's okay. Have your kids in the kitchen. Maybe you don't want them to use a knife. I understand that. We don't want
Yeah.
any fingers cut off, but they can pour flour. They can sift flour. They can whisk things together. They can crack an egg. So there are lots of things that your kids can do in the kitchen with you to learn how to cook.
I totally agree, and I do a lot of private cooking classes, and I was honored to be one of the top cooking teachers in Florida for the 4th year in a row. So I was really honored to be that, and one of my favorite things to do is to teach kids how to cook. I have just so many clients that hire me to come into their homes and teach their kids how to cook, and it is super endearing for me to see the ownership that the children have and how excited they get. And I talk with the parents afterwards. It's always funny. I would tell them to just leave us alone, go in the other room, let us
I've
do
done
what
that
we're
before
doing.
too, yeah.
And it's I have so many wonderful memories of teaching kids to cook from when they were this big to up to this big, and they are totally different people when their parents aren't there in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they feel confident and they feel excited and they're not afraid to try things. And it's really, really heartwarming to see how the kids really have ownership. And in fact, one of my students, Gary, the other day did a dinner for his parents and cooked a 3-course dinner for his parents. This
Fantastic.
I don't even want to say child because he's 12 years old now. I've been working with this particular boy and helping him develop his passion for cooking for a couple of years. He made an entire 3-course meal for his parents.
That's fantastic.
I got a thank you note from his mother that nearly brought me to tears because she shared with me how many things he learned that had nothing to do with cooking.
Yeah.
And isn't that true?
It is true, because we can teach kids math.
Yes.
We can teach them about science. There's so many different things you can learn when you're in the kitchen with your children. It's not just about putting a pot on the stove and cooking. It's math, it's science, how things react, and it's flavor profiles. And that's it's developing your palate.
Yeah.
And what I like, you might not like.
Exactly.
But once you start developing your palate and understanding different flavors and how they go together, we're going to have some fun this afternoon, I think, with some different flavors.
We're going to have some fun this afternoon with some different
and
flavors.
You and I know how flavors work.
We do, so
But-
I'm excited.
so
and
we're going to
so,
see what people have given us to play with.
So the audience knows what we tasked the live audience coming to join us today was to bring us random ingredients that we were going to then add. I know they're all laughing at me now because they know what it is, what they are, and then we're going to just go ahead and pick and choose from some of those, and we're going to just create a unique, memorable risotto that no one else, I'm sure,
Has ever made.
Has ever made. So,
And I think we'll use my risotto.
We will.
Because it's the base.
It is,
right?
for the base. Now
So-
to add another bunch of what I'm going to assume are crazy, insane flavors to an already pumpkin, goat cheese, cranberry risotto seems silly to me. But hey, I've been sillier before, that's for sure.
Let's.
How are you progressing on yours?
I'm going to give this a taste because it's looking like it's pretty
Are
well
we getting
absorbed.
there?
Yeah. How are you doing on yours?
I'm going to give it a shot.
Needs to go a little bit.
It does. But the flavor profile is great.
Now,
Go
I
ahead.
don't season mine until the very end. How about you?
I'm going to do exactly the opposite because, well, not exactly. I'm going to add pepper to mine. And the pepper I'm going to add to it because I know I'm going to want pepper in here. And so I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm going to let it start developing as a flavor agent. We talked about this when we were creating the beer risotto earlier, where I don't add salt to a risotto or to most dishes until the very end, especially a dish that's going to have a cheese like Parmesan cheese in it or goat cheese that it's a really salty-based cheese to begin with, because that's going to add a salt component to it.
Absolutely.
But pepper, I love pepper. It's one of my favorite spices to use, and I'm going to go ahead and add it right now. And so my risotto is taking on this
Look at how beautiful yours is.
gorgeous purple pumpkin. That is just beautiful.
And mine is a little orange also because of the veggie stock. So.
It is. It is. Yep. Now,
It's a nice
traditionally,
thing.
if you were to use wine and a chicken stock to that,
It's going to be a lot lighter.
it would be a really white
Yes. Yeah.
blanco. Perfect. Checking with our producer. I don't know if we have any questions from anybody. If anybody has any questions that they would like to field at us from the audience, if anybody has any questions, please let us know, and we'll be happy to.
Do you pre-cook that rice for risotto? Pre-cook it or soak it or?
Are you asking me, can we pre-cook?
Or how do you do risotto? I mean, I saw the process, but like it seemed like it was. I don't know.
He's
Alright,
asking if
so-
it's a very
so the
quick
rice-
thing or
Yeah.
So are you asking if
Like
you
the
can
start-
make it in advance and serve it later?
Or like, is the rice soaked at all before you put it in there, or is it pumped up?
Chef?
No, we just use the dry rice because we want to toast it to get it a little flavorful, very flavorful. We want to get all that oil absorbed into the rice. The rice is going to kind of start to break down a little bit and become a little translucent, and that's when we start adding the liquid in, and then the rice starts to absorb that liquid, and that's where a lot of that flavor comes from. So you don't want to really soak it beforehand.
And it's a great question because there are, I'm going to guess, 1,000 different kinds of rice. I don't know how many are, but I'm going to guess 1,000 just because it's probably closer to 1,000 than 100. And arboreal rice is the rice that you want to use for risotto. Chef, I don't know that I've used any other rices for risotto. Is that?
No, I've made a quinoa risotto before, and really, it's not a true risotto because the risotto rice, which is the arboreal rice, leaches the starch out.
Correct.
So that's what makes it thick. But for gluten-free cooking, often I have done a quinoa risotto for people who might also be on a wheat-free diet or whatever. Just something a little different. So risotto is really the style of cooking. It's not really the kind of rice that it is. It's arboreal rice, and the risotto is the style of cooking. It's the style of adding the slow liquid and letting the flavors absorb into the rice.
Correct. And as thank you for that question. It's a great question. And other rices you can cook and they'll be done in like 3 minutes.
Right.
And they're done. They're fluffy. They're ready to eat. Not so with arboreal rice, which is why it is used for risotto.
Yeah, and arboreal rice is, when it's cooked and finished, right, it's going to have a little bite in the center of it.
Mhm.
So it's going to be creamy on the outside and soft, and it's going to still have that little bit of bite, that al dente kind of to the
Yes,
tooth bite
to the tooth.
that we talk about
Exactly.
when we're talking about pasta.
Exactly. And it's a labor of love because it's time consuming, but it's so worth it.
Right. Now, like we said earlier, we made the beer risotto earlier.
We did.
And we kind of just put the beer in and we walked away from it. And we came back and stirred a little bit and added a little bit here and there. But we kind of walked away and let it sit, and we had other things going on that we were doing. So you don't have to stand over it, which is, I think, what people get afraid of, right?
I do.
With
I think
risotto.
They think, well, I can't make risotto because I don't have a half an hour to stand over a pan. You don't need a half hour to stand over the pan. You literally need just a half an hour. You can create other dishes while you're making it. You can simply come back. Try and imagine risotto like a well-behaved teenager. You can leave it alone for periods of time and it'll probably be okay. But just come back and check on it from time to time, and that's all you really need to do.
Yeah,
because fair?
You don't want
a well-behaved teenager.
You don't want it to stick to the bottom of your pan. You don't want it to burn. So you do need to check it every once in a while. But if you check it every once in a while, I think you're good.
And I would say that when we were doing that with the beer risotto this afternoon, it was super exciting for us. Again, we're just toddlers, really, as chefs. We would get so excited every time we would come into the kitchen. It was even better.
So good.
Oh my God, it smells so good. Oh my God, it's just wonderful. And we would try it, and we kept trying and trying it until we got to the point where it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
All right, this is
getting close?
I think it's getting close. I think this is going to be ready. I'm going to add a little pepper to this right now.
What would be a good protein to pair this with?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Well, you want to go with that, or should I?
Yeah, well, it'll be two different answers. So for this pumpkin goat cheese cranberry risotto, I would go with either a beautiful pork roast or pork chops or a tenderloin, something that screams Thanksgiving or turkey or anything that's like that. That's what I would go with. I would go with some sort of a pork dish. I think would be phenomenal, perhaps with a nice Vermont maple glaze on it. And something to give it a nice balance of flavors.
I would agree with that. So for a classic risotto,
yes,
I would go with scallops or shrimp.
Yeah. Oh, seafood would be perfect.
Any kind of seafood. A nice white fish would be great with this. Any of those kind of things. You could even do chicken. A nice little grilled chicken breast laid on top of it at the end. That would be a nice way of going also. But I would definitely go seafood with a either a scallop or a or shrimp.
That is getting really, really good.
Look at that. I'm going to hold this up for the camera. I hope the camera can see how creamy this is getting. And that's just the starch that's coming out of the rice.
Right, you can all see what we added to this dish. Everything that we've added to this dish, you've watched us put in there. We haven't put any thickeners in here. We haven't put any starches in here. We haven't put anything in here that wasn't in the rice.
I'm going to give this one more taste. I have a little bit more stock left, but I don't think I'm going to need it.
That's perfect.
Let's see. No, we're good.
You're good?
I think I'm good.
Perfect. I'm going to let mine go for just a hot minute more
while
you finish up yours.
I'm going to let this go just a little bit more to absorb a little bit more of that liquid.
Perfect.
And then I'm going to start with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese.
Ooh, perfect.
Into here.
So, from the very beginning to the very point where we are right now, we're less than 30 minutes. And you have what is essentially a finished risotto. All we're going to do at this point is add a couple of things to it to end and finish it. And so 30 minutes, you can have a beautiful risotto with very little effort, very inexpensive, reasonable ingredients, and you can add all of the different things that you want to add to it yourself and really make it your own. Chef, do you have any recipes or any things that you like to do with leftover risotto? First of all, do you ever have leftover risotto?
We never have leftover risotto. we haven't made it in a long time, but we never have anything left over.
My guess is you're going to have it again soon at some point now?
We haven't had risotto in a while, but you know, we like risotto, so we don't often have it. I think I'm going to start with some butter to finish this before I add the cheese.
Go right ahead. One of my favorite things to do with leftover risotto, if I find myself having some, is making risotto cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to make that before?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, they're delicious.
Are they gluten-free into a cake?
They are, as long as all you do with them, now you have a cold dish of risotto. If you're smart, you'll just put it in a sheet pan and put it on some parchment paper, put it in a sheet pan, just about a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch thick, and you'll put it in the fridge. Cover it, put it in the fridge. When you take it out of the fridge, you have what would essentially be a giant sheet pan of risotto, but it's cold. So you can take a biscuit cutter and you can cut out little rings of those risottos, and now you can get a nice pan nice and hot with some butter, and you can fry that risotto cake into this incredible little after meal deal.
My other question was if we could freeze risotto. I don't know if anyone asked that, but it sounds like the cakes would be maybe easier to freeze.
They would, and I would go ahead, make the cakes, put some parchment paper rings between them, put them in the freezer, and now you've got an incredible dish. And what that does is it gives you a cake that is crisp and flavorful on the outside and rich and creamy on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Now, if you were making this for Thanksgiving
Yes.
and somebody wanted to pre-prepare their risotto before they finished it for the evening,
Okay.
could we make the pumpkin risotto a little bit in advance and then finish eating it through?
Absolutely. So what I would do if you wanted to do that, what I would do is at this point when it's almost to al dente, I would take it off, I would let it cool, and I would put it in a leak-proof plastic bag. That point, you could either freeze it or you could keep it in the refrigerator. When you're ready to have it, say you were going to freeze it and you were going to make it ahead for Thanksgiving, which is a great idea. You can take it out of the freezer, let it defrost in your refrigerator, or put it in some warm water and let it slowly defrost. Take it out, put it in a pan, and now you're right where we are right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be the best way to do it.
And the reason I asked that is because so many people, for Thanksgiving, we're making lots of food.
Yes.
And, you know, like we were talking about, I would love to have risotto with my Thanksgiving dinner, but I don't have 30 minutes to stand over a risotto. So making it in advance is not a problem. And that's another thing that I think scares people is that I have to make it and serve it. Mm-hmm. Because that's what you always see in recipes. Make it and serve immediately.
And that's the step. This is the step that I would stop at if you wanted to do that and save it for another time. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add some of my Parmesan cheese, which I don't see.
You're welcome to use
Parmesan cheese?
You're welcome to use this.
Oh, perfect. Oh, in fact, you know what, Todd? I have some that's over here in a. Oops. Perfect. You just set it right in there for me. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, Chef. You want to give this a taste?
I do. I'm dying to give this a taste. I want to get some of this happy cheese in here, too.
I think we're good.
I don't know about you, Chef, but I found that I can't put enough fresh grated Parmesan in any dish I've ever had. It's probably a personal thing,
Yep.
but my wife is embarrassed to have me at any Italian restaurant. One locally comes to mind where they just automatically, when they bring me anything that is she's giving me a look right now, that has Parmesan cheese in it or could have Parmesan cheese in it, or I simply just walked in the door, I get my own bowl of Parmesan cheese, and I am thankful and grateful for it. So
this is a nice, look at how creamy and delicious
Beautiful.
this is. Perfectly cooked on the inside.
Chef, that is gorgeous.
How'd we do?
I'm a little bit afraid to have you taste mine now because that is phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get mine to the point where I think that it's almost good enough for Chef Appelsies here to try. But you know what it needs?
A little more cheese.
Absolutely.
I think mine
totally needs a little more cheese.
You can go ahead with mine too.
You notice that I
mine
didn't.
needs a little more cheese also. I think.
You notice that I didn't taste it before I determined it needed a little bit more
You
cheese.
can always use more cheese. Cheese is. It's
cheese.
It's cheese.
There you go. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Is there, if you are dairy free, is there something you can do instead of the cheese?
If you're
Or is it
dairy
just
free.
You don't eat risotto if you're dairy free.
I wouldn't say that at all. I would say that you there are some vegan cheeses that are available that you could utilize in this. I would say don't don't cut risotto out of your life just because you're dairy free.
Okay.
I would say this dish was fantastic before we put the cheese in it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
It's going to be your risotto. One of the things that I love about cooking and about teaching is that there is no right or wrong recipe. There's your recipe. There's my recipe. There's 38,000 different recipes. So I would suggest you go ahead and make it however you want to make it.
Okay. Great.
Okay. You may try it now.
That's really good.
It is, isn't it? The pumpkin
I'm
comes
a little
through.
jealous.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to season this with just a little bit more pepper. And I am going to add...
Now you're going to add your goat cheese.
I am. So I'm going to fold in some goat cheese here. This is going to... Now you tasted it just before, Chef. And now... Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
That's gorgeous.
Isn't it? So this is going to give it yet another layer
Right.
of really
it's
fun...
Developing
smell
that. I'm going to
yeah.
shut this off so that we don't burn this risotto.
Yes, do that. I would have
I'll
to
just
say
add a
we
little-
have...
I'm going to add a little
Yeah, there
more
you go.
stock to this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add some more wine.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
Just add a little wine to
That's lovely. I'm
equate this
gonna
pan.
add some fresh.
Now I would finish this probably with a little parsley, some fresh herb just for some color.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have some special
ingredients.
ingredients. Where's Lisa Wilk from Taste Cook Sip?
Yes. Ooh, Lisa Wilk from Taste Cook Sip.
Cook Sip.
Ooh. Can you come to the stage, please? So do me a favor then. Lisa, thank you. Join us.
Thank you.
It's so nice to see you,
Wonderful to
sweetheart.
see you
So
both.
good to see you.
It's
Thank you
one
for
of
having me.
one of the reasons that I'm super excited that we have all of these dear folks here is because we haven't had the opportunity to get together and see each other.
A very long
And to
time.
see our smiling faces, and
Very
to
true.
see our warm hearts, and to actually spend some quality time together. And so I'm super excited that we were able to do that and bring all these folks here
Well,
together.
thank you so much. This has been amazing and super informative.
Good. So
And it's going to be delicious.
I am going to give you
Yeah.
2 forks.
Okay.
I'm
And
going to
we're
let
gonna
you
let
go
you
ahead
taste.
and taste these.
Okay. You're not going to make me pick a favorite.
No,
No,
why
no,
would
no,
we
no.
do that?
No, we wouldn't do that at all.
Because I'm
She's
not
like,
answering.
I'm friends with both of you. I don't want to.
So I said we would
Right,
make her.
right, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't say they would.
They're both delicious.
Perfect. Different profile. So tell me a little bit of what does this say to you? So give me from a guest's perspective, if we were to sit down at Thanksgiving
Yes.
and we were to try both of these risottos, what would be some of your comments?
Thank you so much for inviting me. They are absolutely delicious. May I take some to go? I love it. I love the fact that you probably get a little more pumpkin-y forward on this one.
Yeah.
And definitely a little more savory, autumny with the pumpkin as the supporting kind of
Gotcha.
cast. So
Perfect.
I feel like if you have somebody who's like team pumpkin, that's great. And I feel like this, you can definitely taste it, but you're getting a little bit of the
Well, good,
the
because
mushroom
Chef's
in
is a
your
classic.
body.
So
Yeah.
his just looks like pumpkin. He tried to make it look like my pumpkin.
I tried really
tried.
hard. You see my
So-
veggie
You
stock?
You did a beautiful job.
I had
You did.
veggie stock that was really nice
so
and golden.
we have,
Gorgeous.
we have secret ingredients.
Secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
brought
Ah.
2 ingredients, I believe, right?
Yes, I did.
All right, so why don't we have one of our lovely assistants go ahead and grab these secret ingredients so that we can find out what they are, God help us, and we can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and plate this. Perfect. Wait, so what do we have here? Wait a minute. Okay, so I know what those are.
So we have artichokes,
I
hazelnuts.
think I know what these are. And, oh, what is this? Oh, well, that's just awesome. So, for secret ingredients, we have this incredible truffle zest, which I'm super excited to put on. We have figs, which I love figs in just about
I do too.
anything.
And I can eat figs just whole with.
Right off our fig tree back
Yeah.
there. I eat them right off our fig tree back there. Artichoke hearts, which I absolutely love putting artichokes in things. And these are just whole hazelnuts. Well, that's awesome. I have another ingredient. I have another special ingredient that I have.
Whoop.
Thank you, God, for not having
I
that.
know.
And I have truffle caviar.
Oh, so it's the
Oohs
sweet.
and ahs from the whole audience, and I think some
Everybody
of
at
our
once.
neighboring
Ooh.
houses. Oh, yes.
Yes.
So smell that.
Oh,
We
that
have-
smells incredible.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So again, we're gonna play with these ingredients here for a couple of minutes, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and add them. Chef, I'm inclined to just have a
You want a kitchen sink?
risotto.
Yeah.
Let's have a kitchen
love
sink
that.
risotto.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I think it's a testament to the fact that
Yeah.
we
I
said
think-
you can put anything in risotto and it'll be great. Let's go ahead and
Let's
put
do it.
anything in
Bi-
risotto
well,
and it'll be great.
And why not? I mean, the sweetness from the figs and the
Yes.
crunchiness from the almonds and the hazelnuts. Thank you.
Hazelnuts.
Thank you.
And the artichokes, and then the truffle on top.
Yes.
That is just going to be.
Just make sure you write it down because we are all going to want this afterwards.
Okay.
You need to be able to recreate it. You can't just make magic happen once.
We can. We can.
Well, you could, but then it's already amazing. But
Awesome. I'm gonna get up in your
Very
risotto here,
Yeah.
Chef.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Do we need a little more liquid in there?
Yeah, let's get a little more liquid in here. And Chef, why don't
Turn this
you come right over here? Lisa, thank you so much
Thank
for doing
you.
that.
Thank you,
You're
Lisa.
welcome. And why don't you go right ahead and cut up some of these for us. We have here also what I'm going to
I'm gonna
add,
grab
which
one
are
of your knives.
spicy pumpkin seeds. We're going to use this as a garnish for the pumpkin risotto. I'm going to have the lovely Ashley Rollins. Would you join me, please? Hi.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you for
Thanks for
joining us.
inviting me.
Chef Gary, I brought Ashley
Hi,
up.
Ashley.
Ashley, I was super excited that you were going to join us today because, first, we adore you. And secondly, you are our beer girl.
Yes.
You're our beer girl.
I
So
do love
I'm super excited with everything that you do to help the craft brewers of not just Florida, but it seems like you help the craft brewers of the world because they clearly need help. Chris Rock is a great example of a craft brewer who clearly needs help.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he might. He might need a little bit of help.
so tell me a little bit about some new and exciting things that are coming up in the craft beer world that you're aware of. Do you have anything that you would like to share with everyone?
Well, in Orlando, surprisingly this year, we've had a lot of places open up.
We've had new openings, right?
Yes, we have Commission Beer Chamber, which is down kind of in the, oh gosh, what is it? Hourglass District.
Oh, perfect.
So it's a craft beer bar, and he gets stuff pretty much from all over Florida when you wouldn't be able to really get here in Orlando.
Mhm.
And then Persimmon Hollow just opened up a second location.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yes, and that's downtown in Lake Eola, and also, what's the other place that just opened up?
Motorworks.
Motorworks.
Yes.
Thank you. Right downtown. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're based out of Tampa, so it's a second location, but, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing somebody else.
I'm sure you are, but that's
But
okay. You'll
there's
have the
even-
opportunity
there's
later to make a
also
whole list for
more,
folks.
yes, more craft beer places opening up surprisingly, and it's really exciting, and I want to see more of that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I know of.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Did you have a
Thank
chance to
you.
try the beer risotto?
Is that what was right over there?
Yes.
Yes, and it was really good. I just-
Isn't it awesome?
And I was asking my husband to make sure there was nothing in my teeth.
Wait,
I've
look,
been
beautiful as always, so nothing in your teeth. But if you'll do me a favor and you'll take these spicy pumpkin seeds and you'll bring them over to one of our other lovely assistants right there.
Okay.
You can add those to the pumpkin risotto, and you can tell our audience that they should start enjoying it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Chef, what do you got going on over there?
I have chopped up a couple of the artichokes.
Okay.
I've chopped up the fig, and now I'm chopping up the nuts. And I'm just rough chopping everything, kind of. I think a nice rough chop, a little rustic kind of feel to it
I think that's
is
awesome.
good.
And I think, Chef, in your travels, you and I have talked about this. In traveling, isn't it really exciting and fun to try new, different local ingredients that
Always.
you would never, ever, ever have access to,
Yep.
and that you can try and you can put them in different dishes. Oh, Chef,
So I
this
just-
is beautiful.
So I just kind of made a kitchen sink over here.
Oh, that's awesome.
So should
let's
we
dump
just
her in there?
Dump that in there?
Perfect. Oh, that is. Look at that. That is
looks
just
great.
Isn't that
That
awesome?
looks great.
I'm going to do nothing else to this except get a fork.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And I'm excited because, like, you put cranberries in your pumpkin risotto.
Yes.
So why not figs in a risotto?
Exactly. Grab another one for you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go in there. Oh, wow.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is just...
I love it.
I almost don't even have words
Perfect.
for how awesome that is. The bright fig taste.
almost-
Oh, you know what we
I
didn't?
almost
Did
asked
you
you
do
if that
the-
was a good thing.
It is. You know what we didn't do?
We didn't do the truffle
We need that.
salt.
It's already awesome.
Yeah, and you don't need a lot of truffle.
No, you do not. Oh, the whole
Yeah.
aroma changes.
Everybody smell that out there?
Oh, this is
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I am super excited that we were able to do this and that we were able to share this with everyone. I had so much fun with you, Chef Gary.
I had a ball. Thank you so much for inviting me
You're
and
very
sharing
welcome.
your kitchen with everybody and myself
You're very welcome.
and cooking together. It's just wonderful.
It has been.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. We are going to get into this kitchen sink.
Chicken,
Kitchen
not
sink.
chicken,
Kitchen sink.
kitchen
yes.
sink.
That's live TV for you.
Add some more beer, Bob.
Kitchen Sink Risotto by Chef Gary Appelsies and myself, Chef Bob Aungst. We are super excited that you joined us. We are going to get into this. If you have questions about anything that you're cooking, whether it's risotto, dietary needs, any of those types of things,
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. You can reach us on all of our social media outlets. All that information will be available to you on the podcast that we're putting up together. So thank you all for joining us, and bon appetit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait.